What's going on, everybody? David here. Today we're going to talk about the Osmo Action. So I was able to take this out and do some tests, and I have 10 things that I really like about it and then 2 things that I hate about it. But first off, on this channel we talk about travel, exploration, and photography. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the little bell icon so you can get future updates on my videos. All right, so I want to talk about these 10 things that I really like about the Osmo Action, and then I'll talk about the 2 things that I don't like. Now wait till the end, because these 2 things that I don't like, they can be deal breakers. For me, I'm going to have to see how it plays out, but definitely wait till the end so you can hear the last 2 things. All right, so I'm going to start with the first thing that I like about the Osmo Action is the size. I love the size of this Osmo Action. This thing is really small, and it has, I mean, you can easily fit this in your shirt pocket or put it in your pants pocket. It's perfect, the size. They really did a good job with that. If you have like the Osmo Pocket, it's probably about that long, and it's a little thinner. Depending on what you have on it. Like I have a little rig on mine, so mine's probably the same thickness of this. But it's a really easy just to throw in your pocket or anything. Like my shirt pocket is a big thing. So if I'm on a plane, I can just have this in my shirt pocket and pull it out when I want to shoot some video, and then put it right back in my pocket. So that it's just great. My old routine, I have my big old DSLR. Now I have my mirrorless cameras. I have to get them out of my bag and then take pictures of food and things like that on the plane. And I'm just using the plane because I travel a lot. So that was kind of my routine. But now I can just have this here, pull it out real quick, get some video, or put it out the window, get some video. So it's just, the size of this is amazing. And I'm very, very happy about that. So that's one of the things I really, really like. Okay, the next thing I really like about the Osmo Pocket is the durability. This thing, I haven't dropped it. They say you can drop it up to like 5 feet, which is great. But it just feels solid. You don't hear anything rattling around when you shake it. It feels like a brick when you hold on to it. It has some weight to it, and you can tell if you do drop it, it's not gonna damage it or anything. And the fact that they have a lens that you can actually remove, like the filter, lens filter on the front, that's great, because if you do happen to scratch it, you can always get another one and replace it. So that's great. But all in all, the durability on this thing is amazing. I have that Osmo Pocket, like I said. And if I drop that Osmo Pocket from like 3 feet, I'm afraid it'll probably break. With this, you're not going to have that issue. So I'm very happy with the durability. Okay, so the third thing that I really like about this camera, I kind of touched on it in the second thing that I really like about it, but it's the lens cap. So you can take this lens, actually we should call it a lens filter, because it's not really a cap. It doesn't cover, it's just you shoot right through it. But you can unscrew this and you can put on ND filters. You can also put on polarizers. So you can put different things on here. Plus it's protecting the lens while it's on here. So if I do put it in my pocket and it happens to get scratched, it's just going to scratch this. I can take this off and replace it with another one. So that's great. And I also see some third-party companies, or maybe even DJI, making a wider angle lens that you can put over here, lens filter, or a narrower one, or something like something that you can shoot macro photography with. I can really see that coming in the future. So I'm happy that they made it adjustable, so you can take this off and interchange it. So that's great. Okay, and then the next thing I want to talk about that I really like about this is you have voice activation, which I like. So I can tell it shut down, and it shuts down. That's amazing. So I like that. You can tell it to take a picture. You can tell it to flip the screen. So there are a few different commands that you can give it, but I think it's really amazing the fact that you can have this thing, you can talk to it. It's GoPro, I think, does the same thing, but the fact that you can talk to it, tell it to take your picture, tell it to record, flip screen, shut down, I think that's a real nice feature. The next thing I want to talk about, the thing that I really, really like about this Osmo Action, is the ROCKSTEady. So I was able to take it out and I did some test footage. I compared it with the Osmo Pocket. I also compared it with the Sony FDR X3000, and just walked down a path, and you can see that the footage is pretty good. I mean, the image stabilization is good. I would say it's a little bit better than the Osmo Pocket. However, I like the Osmo Pocket's image quality. Image quality is a little bit better than the Osmo Action. But you know, when you're walking, you always get that little bounce when you walk. And with the Osmo Pocket, you get just more of a pronounced bounce. And with the Osmo Action, it's just a little less. So really good though. I mean, they're doing a really good job with this image stabilization. I actually had it out by the beach and I was just doing a pan. And that's one of the things I was concerned with, because with the Osmo Pocket, you can do some really good pans with that camera. So I did a pan with this camera and it was good. The pan was really good. I mean, I was surprised at how straight I could keep the horizon when I did the pan. And it wasn't shaky or anything like that. So very, very happy with that image stabilization. That's one of the things that I was really looking for in a small little compact camera. When I'm out traveling, one of the big things that bothers me when I look at my footage later is just how shaky it is. And if it's too shaky, I just don't use it. So I'm putting a lot of footage. I'm shooting a lot of footage, but I'm not using a lot of footage because it's just too shaky. So this is a great improvement. And it's something that I'm definitely looking for. My next trip, I'm going to have this. I'll be in Hawaii in a month, and I'm going to have this little camera with me everywhere I go. Okay, so this is another thing that I really love about this camera, how fast it records. So all you need to do is double click the record button, and it will automatically turn on and start recording, and I'll show you. And I'll do it this way so you guys can see exactly how long it takes. So there it is, that quick, and you can start recording. So, and there's no SD card in here, but it responded because there was no SD card, but that's how fast it works. It's amazing. And this is great for situations where you are, let's say you're out and you want to get a quick shot. You just pull this out real quick, double click, and it will start recording. And it takes like a second in order for it to start recording. The Osmo Pocket that I have, I love that camera. It takes about 3 seconds, which is really fast, but this camera is even faster than that. So that's one of the things that I'm really, if I was in a situation where I had both cameras and I had them one in one pocket, one in the other pocket, which one am I going to go to first? If I see something happening and I want to record that right away, I'm going to pull out the Osmo Action, double click, and get that footage. So really, well thought out, great feature that they have in the Osmo Action. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about that I really like about this camera is the fact that the wireless module, or the wireless is built in. It's not like a wireless module like the Osmo Pocket, where you have to have a separate device that's hooked in. That I always forget for whatever reason. I go out somewhere and then I realize, oh, I don't have the wireless module. So it's good that it's all built in. You don't have to worry about it. All I need to do is turn on the camera, turn on my phone. They sync together, and then I'm shooting. So I really like the fact that they did that. Hopefully in the future, when they make the Osmo Pocket 2, they will have that wireless built in. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is the menu. The menu setting, it's very easy to use. Like, you just get in there, you move around, it's touch screen, so you have the back of the screen, you can just touch screen, change it to 4K or whatever you want to do, but it's so easy to use and it's so straightforward, and that's what I like. You're just swiping one way, you open up a certain menu, or then you swipe up, you open up another set of menus. So I like the fact that it's easy to use. Plus, if I have it set up wirelessly, I can use it on my phone, and that just makes it even easier because I can have the camera sitting somewhere and then control everything with my phone. So the menu setting, just like the Osmo Pocket, the menu setting on here is excellent, and it doesn't take you that long to learn it. That's the big thing. Like, when you get some of these more complicated cameras, they have menu settings, and the Sony FDR-X3000, that action camera, the menu setting the menu setup is not good at all, and you have to kind of figure out where you're going in order to get to 4K. Then you have to move out of that screen, go to another screen. It's just really convoluted. It doesn't need to be, and the DJI knew that, so they started to create these menus that are just really easy to use. So I like that. Okay, so the next thing I love about the Osmo Action is the sound quality. Believe it or not, the sound is pretty good considering this is waterproof. This is a waterproof camera. All right, so we are walking by the beach right now. Actually, not really the beach. Well, it is beach, but rocky beach. But just testing it out here, seeing how the audio sounds right next to the water. And there's a little bit of wind, so I'll have to play that out. I thought the sound was fine, and usually I always enhance my sound when I edit it, so that's just normal. Any sound that comes out of any camera, the sound that's coming out of here, I still will modify it. So it sounds good. And one of the things that I noticed, when I was walking, it wasn't really windy, but generally when I'm walking, I'll get a little bit of wind, and you'll hear that in the mic, but I didn't hear any wind in the mic at all. So I'm walking around, I don't hear anything, so that was good. Even when I mounted it on the top of the car, you can hear the wind, but it wasn't too overbearing. So you can still watch the video, and it's not too loud. And I think that the mics that are on there, they're good enough. I think it'll work. I mean, this is one of those cameras you're just going to pull out real quick and do a little quick vlog if you want to do that, or shoot some footage really quickly and then put it back in your pocket. It's not something that you're going to be sitting down like I am right now doing interview style footage. You're just not going to do that. So I think it works for what you need it for. And if you go out and let's say you go out in the water and stuff like that, this is a great camera for that. The sound is still good. So if you're underwater, yeah, the sound's not going to be good. But if you have it above water and you're just kind of filming each other, you're talking, you're doing vlog, whatever, out in the water, you'll be fine. The audio is good. So I'm very, very happy with the audio sound. Okay, and the last thing, so this is the number 10. The last thing as far as the things that I really, really like about this camera is the quick select. I love this little quick select, and this kind of goes back to the menu setting, but you have this little quick select button. So you click the quick select button and it opens up and it will show me different things that I can personalize. So I can personalize what I want: video, photo, time lapse, all these different little things for my quick select. So let's say I like to shoot a lot of video. I don't really take pictures with it, but I like to do time lapse. Well, I can have that personalized. So when I click on it, it's going to show me, okay, video, and then it'll show me time lapse, and it'll show me slow motion if I want to do that, or it'll show me something else. So it'll give me the options, and it'll be right there, so I can click and switch through them fast. I don't have to go through any of the regular menus. All I need to do is click the quick select, scroll over to it, and it'll automatically open up. So I think that, I mean, I love in a lot of cameras now, the mirrorless cameras and the DSLRs, they have that Q button, and that's what that's for. The Q button is like the quick select, the same thing where you can kind of personalize it. So they're taking a page from the DSLRs and the mirrorless cameras, and now they're putting it in these little action cameras, which I think is really great. Okay, so now I've talked about the 10 things that I really like about this camera. Now it's time to talk about the things that I don't like, the 2 things that I don't like. And they could be pretty major. So I was checking out YouTube right after I bought the camera, checking out some reviews on YouTube, and I noticed that people were talking about, there are a few people that mentioned this, that on the front-facing screen, it looks like there's a little fingerprint. And so I didn't think much of it, and they said the same thing. It kind of goes away after time, but if you have your camera on for any period of time, then it'll start showing up. So I was hoping that was just an isolated incident, or maybe a couple of isolated incidents, because there was a couple that I saw. But sure enough, I had the camera on for about 15 minutes. I'm walking around, and on my way back to the car, I noticed that I was seeing that little fingerprint. And it was probably the size of my index finger here, and it was on the front of the front screen. Now I wasn't using the front facing screen at the time; I was using the back screen. And so got to the car and I shot some footage of it. So I do have what looks like a little fingerprint on the front facing screen, but it's actually not a fingerprint. It's from just having the camera on. So it's heating up. It is going away a little bit now, and so I don't know if it's cold air and hot camera or what, because I have it in the car right now. So it looks like it's going away. But yeah, it was on. I mean, the camera's still on right now, but when I was out walking around, that's when it happened. And I've seen it on YouTube before, so this is not the first time. But you can see it's just going away right in front of your eyes, and that's after being in a warmer controlled temperature. And so you can see over time it dissipated, it went away completely. Now that was the first time I shot again, and this time I was closer to the water. I didn't shoot any footage of this one, but I was closer to the water, and when I was doing like a time lapse, and then I started shooting video for like 3 minutes, and closer to the water was a little cooler. And temperature it was probably about 60 degrees. So I'm in California, Southern California. It doesn't really get cold. But what I'm thinking is the camera gets hot, and then the screen, for whatever reason, there's just something in there that's making it show this like this fingerprint pattern on the front. And so it did happen to me twice. Now, the fact that it goes away, I'm good with that. As long as it's not going to damage that front screen, then I'm fine. As long as it doesn't show up if I have the front-facing screen like showing, which I haven't done yet. But as long as it doesn't show up there, then I'm good. But it is, I do notice it. I do see it, and it does happen. This is not just some isolated incident. It looks like it's happening to a variety of different cameras. Who knows what they're going to do about it? This is a hardware issue. It's not going. I don't think this is something that a firmware update will be able to fix. But yeah, it is out there, and I did have it on my camera. Okay, the second thing. Now, this thing could be a deal breaker. Okay, I am going to kind of wait this out and see. Now, I'm hoping there's a firmware update that can fix this, but I was noticing I shot probably about 6 or 7 clips of me talking, and I would say out of the six, I think it was actually 7 clips that I shot. Out of that, 3 of those clips, the video and the audio were off just a little bit. So far, I'm thinking it's pretty good, and the image stabilization looks like it's working good. Rocksteady with the Osmo Action. Me just walking around. I'm probably going to do a little bit more as far as I might go up there and hike a little bit. It's noticeable for me, especially. It's not something that's hard to fix. Now I can fix it. Just go into my editing software and just kind of move it forward just a little bit. But it's not one of those things that I want to have to do. Like it should be synced. And the fact that it's not, that bothers me. And if I have a lot of different little clips, it's going to take me forever to keep nudging it forward so I can have everything in sync. So it's one of those deals that does bother me. Now, it did work. Sometimes it was working, sometimes it didn't. So maybe there's something that I'm flipping or hitting that's wrong. I don't know, but it wasn't synced up. And that was bothering me. That can be a deal breaker because, like I said, if you can't do a firmware update on that, I don't want to have a camera that I have to deal with that every time, or even think, oh, you know what? If I shoot with this camera, then I might have to adjust the audio, which it would just be a pain. So I'm hoping that there's a firmware update. I'm hoping that they're able to fix this. But that's definitely something that's noticeable. I can deal with the little fingerprint thing, but this is one of those things. I don't want to have to deal with that. I would reach for the Osmo Pocket and not even use that camera if that were the case. So I'm hoping they have a fix for that. But all in all, my takeaway from this camera, I mean, when it works really well. And I had no real issues with the camera other than the 2 that I mentioned. But there are a lot of good things I have to say about it. I also didn't talk about the front-facing screen. I like that. I used that a little bit, walked around, and it's good because you can compose your shot. And also you can kind of, peek over there, see if there's people behind you, or kind of, compose a selfie if you want to do that. So it just makes it a real nice addition. I'm glad that they did this on an action camera. And now you're looking at action cameras more as I can use this for more than just an action camera. Whereas a GoPro, yeah, you're going to use that mainly for an action camera. When I was using that Sony FDR, the X3000, that camera doesn't have any screen on it at all, and you just kind of have to point and pray, I guess you could say, or just point and hope that it's in the right you're in the right composition. But that camera was good for vlogging. I use it for vlogging all the time, especially because of the audio. The audio was excellent on that camera, just out of the camera. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with this. I'm hoping that there's a firmware update that's coming. I know that they're going to have to address this because I did hear this. I heard a couple of other people on YouTube talk about the fact that they were shooting clips and the audio wasn't synced up. So I'm hoping that they have a fix for that. If not, then we'll just have to see where we go with it. But all in all, like I said, I think it's a good camera. If I were in the market right now, you haven't bought the camera. If I was in the market right now, I just wait a couple weeks, see what happens, see if there's anything that comes out as far as firmware updates. Look at some of the other reviews. Maybe this is a camera that the camera that I have is just not a good camera, and I need to send it back anyway and have them fix the problem. Maybe it's not all the cameras that are doing this. But yeah, just do some research first. You'll be happy with the camera, but you want to avoid those issues if you possibly can. All right, that's all I have for you guys. If you guys have similar experiences, please post in the comments below. If you have any other issues or anything like that, please post in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.